Aloha and welcome back to Haole, Hawaiian Snorkeling. This is episode number 3 and I want to welcome everybody back and hopefully you've enjoyed the other videos. And today we are going to be talking about snorkeling in another great spot on the Big Island, one of my absolute favorites. If I had a top 5, it would probably be definitely in the top 5, if not top 3 places that I've snorkeled on the Big Island. And I'm talking about the area of Puako, which is right in this area here of the South Kohala District, Waikoloa area of the Big Island. And it's fantastic. You're gonna love it if you get a chance to go and snorkel there. It's one I would highly recommend. Before I get into that though, I do want to give a shout out and a mention to a wonderful resource for snorkeling that I discovered and I've used many times since I've started snorkeling, and this is a resource that has really increased my passion for snorkeling and my knowledge and understanding, and helped me to find a number of the places, if not most of the places I've gone snorkeling on the island, and gives just great information. And it's tropicalsnorkeling.com. This is the website here, tropicalsnorkeling.com, and as you can see, it's just got a number of different areas around the world in which good people at Tropical Snorkeling have gone and have created snorkeling guides for, and you can see all of the bigger Hawaiian islands are included in that. They each have their own guidebook, which are ebooks, electronic books, downloadable, which makes it super easy to bring them with you on a tablet or mobile device that you can download it on, and makes it easy to bring it with you. You can also print off the ebooks if you want, but like I said, being downloadable, it makes them so easy. But this is a great site. I've used it a lot, and they not only give guides for snorkeling on these different places, but just information on snorkeling basics, different types of gear, and just suggestions and tips from their vast snorkeling experience. And it's one I've really used. I really appreciate. The site also has a great online forum where you can ask questions and get answers and share experiences and give hints and read other people's hints when snorkeling, all the different places that are provided within the tropical snorkeling world on the website. So I just wanted to give them a shout out because I definitely have used their guides, and I have a lot of the information and experience I have is based on the information I've gotten from utilizing their ebooks and the website itself. So definitely go and check out tropicalsnorkeling.com, and it'll definitely help you to be more prepared as a snorkeler and have better know-how, and really prepare yourself to have a great, enjoyable experience when you go snorkeling. And we're going to go ahead and zoom in on our snorkeling area today, and as you can see, it is this area here, Puako. And to get to Puako, you're going to be coming either north from Kailua Kona or perhaps south, whether you're coming from Hilo or Waimea or Hawaii, depending on where you live or where you're staying. You got to come over to the west side of the island, sort of northwest side, on Highway 19. And to get into Puako, you come down, and this is Puako Beach Drive. And you turn off Highway 19 onto Puako Beach Drive, and you just follow it right along. And the area that we're going to snorkel, sort of known as end of the road, Puako. But as you'll see, it's not really at the end of the road, but it used to be. So that's why they call it that. So follow Puako Beach Drive through this sort of residential community, beautiful little area of the Big Island, and just please be cautious. It is sort of a narrow road, but there are a lot of people who like to walk and run on the road, so just be courteous. Follow the speed limit. I think it's probably only 25 along this area. Also, I recommend, if you need some refresher, go ahead and stop in the Puako General Store. It's just kind of a great little store to stop into. And so to get to the snorkeling area, you're going to follow the road all the way down, and as you can see, the road actually connects down here now. It used to stop in this area, and the snorkeling area actually is right here by this house. That's kind of where you turn off, and there's a little parking area here under the trees, and we'll get a better look at that in a minute, but I do want to back up the road a little bit just to show you to not go into the boat ramp area. I mean, you can go in there. There may be even some dive tours or other things that leave from there. So I'm not saying it's off limits. I'm just saying don't go and park here and expect to be able to snorkel out here. Really, there's not going to be much to see in this area, even though the water is calmer. But you have to keep in mind there's going to be a lot of boat traffic. It is a used boat ramp. So you just don't want to be in the way of the boats. Also, to really get to where you're going to be able to see much, you're going to have to swim all the way out here from the boat ramp, and that's a heck of a swim. That is a heck of a swim. By the time you get out there, you're probably going to be too tired to really want to enjoy anything unless you're a really strong swimmer and you're just up for a long swim. I just wouldn't recommend going that way. Stick with the end of the road. Stick with the end of the road. So let's go ahead and zoom in here on this area. So this is where you're going to turn off. It's right in here. You can't really see it from above because of the trees, but that's where it is. And there's no real services here. There's no lifeguard here. Nothing like that. You just park your car, you find a spot, and you go snorkel or whatever activity you're going to do there for the day. But since we're talking about snorkeling, find a spot and go snorkeling. But as always, I always remind you, some of these more, I don't know if I'd call it remote, but less popularly used areas, definitely leave valuables at home before you go, and anything that you have to bring with you, leave it out of sight and secured in the car, and if you can take it with you, do that, and keep it on your person. So the main area where you're going to want to snorkel is up, out, and around kind of the edge of this reef and up this way, and you just follow the shelf for as long as you feel comfortable going. To get in and out of the water here, I'll tell you what I did the first time I came here. My snorkel buddy and I, we went out through this channel here. We found a place to sit, got our gear on, and went out, which wasn't too bad the day we went. It was pretty calm. It was even in the winter time, probably February, and it was great snorkeling that day. We snorkeled for a while. We came back, but by the time we came back, the water had kind of picked up. The surf was a little bigger. The waves were a little bigger, and it just made it too dangerous to try to go back in this way. We really would have had to been super careful and really time our entry and exit with the surge of the waves just right, not to get bashed on some rocks or urchins or anything that might be under here. And trust me, there are urchins. This is not a sandy bottom area. That's all kind of the bigger rock boulder type stuff. So just be careful. I wouldn't recommend this. I've learned since then that this isn't the best way to get in and out, but that's the way we got out. We snorkeled when we came back. We could not get back in this way because of the water. We actually had to end up swimming farther down this way and cutting in right about here and coming up into this beach area, which wasn't too bad considering how big the surf was. We could really, nothing that got in the way. We had to be a little careful, but we were able to really swim right up to the shoreline. So it wasn't too bad. The only problem is that all of our stuff, we left it over here, including our footwear. And this was before I knew that it's probably a good idea to always, if you can, clip on a cheap pair of slippers or sandals or something that you can just clip onto a belt or somehow secure to yourself as you're swimming, in case you need to get out and walk. We should have done that. We didn't. So we had to walk back along this sort of sandy dirt path all the way up to where our stuff was. And it's not as smooth as it looks from above. There's rocks, there's the thorny things that come from these trees, there's coral and shells and all kinds of stuff we just had to be careful of. So it was not the easiest on the foot walking back this way. But we did learn a valuable lesson, and I do want to share that with you. Other than always having footwear with you if possible, is we ran into some locals who were just sitting admiring the ocean, and they gave me a pair of slippers to borrow to run over and grab our stuff and come back so that we didn't have to walk farther than was necessary because it was hurting our feet. So that was very nice. But they also put us onto a better entry and exit point that they called the keyhole. The keyhole entry that they said is definitely better to use because it's more of a sandy bottom little spot, and I believe from overhead it's kind of hard to tell, but I believe it's right here. It's just a narrow little spot. You can kind of sit on the rock, put your fins on, and there's this, it's a sandy little bottom area in there, and you can kind of just go out with the surge of the wave, and it's just much easier way to get in and out of the water as you come back. The only caution I would give you is it is hard to identify from the water where exactly you're coming back in. So the local people did tell me that there's, and I will include a picture of that as well, a V-shaped tree right across, I guess, from the keyhole entry point. Kind of a V-shaped tree that you can use as a guide as you come in, or as other people have suggested on forums on tropicalsnorkeling.com, that they put a bright colored bag or something near the entry point that they could easily identify and swim back towards. So that would be the suggestion to follow. And so once you get in, you're just going to want to snorkel out kind of around this way, and as you'll see in the video in a few moments, there's some underwater sort of cave arch topography in this area that makes it easy to kind of recognize when you need to kind of turn back in to get back to get out of the water. So swim out this way and hang a right, and you can just follow this edge of this shelf up as long as you want to comfortably go. And always remember that no matter how far you swim out, you're going to have to swim back. There's no easy way to get back here. I mean, you can see the water is fairly shallow along here, but getting from here to here would be kind of dangerous. And although I have seen people sort of walking out here before, I swim out as far as you're comfortable. Either set a time limit for yourself, because it's, you know, especially on a really good day, you can really lose track of time and how far you've gone. So swim out, enjoy yourself, and then make sure you know when to come back and where to turn back in. It's a fantastic spot to snorkel. The only other sort of tip or information I would suggest is really pay attention to the water here. As you can see, this is just open ocean. This isn't in a bay, not a protected bay like at Two-Step or the Captain Cook area, or Kahalu'u Bay, or any of those others that are sort of protected from the ocean. This one's a little more open, so you do have to pay attention to what the water's doing. If the waves are big and really crashing over, it's not worth the risk. Don't do it. If you see a lot of people out surfing out here, which they do, it might not be the best day to go snorkeling, because usually a lot of surfers means a lot of big waves. But if, on the other hand, you may see some dive boats out here, some dive buoys, that might indicate that it is a better day to go snorkeling, and just pay attention to the water. Definitely the summer is probably the better time to go snorkeling in this area, because water just tends to be calmer in the summer than in the winter. But I did go in the winter, probably February-ish, and the day we went, it was fantastic. So you just have to pay attention. Also, there can be currents that run through here, so pay attention to that. If you really feel like you're fighting it, you're just going to make yourself tired. So just kind of pay attention. Always keep track of where you are in proximity to the shelf. I mean, it's going to be hard. You're going to know if you're starting to get swept out. You're going to know right away. But I think the current generally runs a little more parallel to the shore. So just kind of pay attention. Because if you're having a really easy going out, it might be a little more difficult swimming back, because you may be fighting the current, or vice versa. But like I say, the day I went, it was really great. Didn't have any of that problem. Only that I used the wrong entry point. So that would be my suggestion. But there really is a lot to see here. Saw a pretty good amount of fish, a lot of healthy coral, great underwater topography. As you can kind of see the overhead shot, just little fingers that kind of come in and out in little canyons, and this is pretty deep here. So it's a little bit different than snorkeling. Even like Two-Step can get pretty deep. But like the tide pools and some of the other areas that are more shallow, it's a little bit more eerie snorkeling here, because it is pretty deep. I mean, there's nowhere you can just stand and rest. I mean, it's probably 30 feet or more deep. So you just got to be cognizant of that, that you're not going to have anywhere to rest. But it makes for great topography. You can really kind of explore in and out these crevices and just take your time, enjoy yourself. You'll see a lot of turtles here. I saw a ton of turtles here, and which is always something that's really exciting to see when you're snorkeling. At least it is for me, and I hope everybody enjoys it. So this is Puako, great place to snorkel. So this is what the turn-in looks like from Puako Beach Road. You just turn right into here, and you can see there's a car back there already. There is a dumpster. Sorry, I said there's no services, but there is a dumpster. And you'll see there is a shoreline access sign here. You just turn in and park. And the nice thing is your car will be in the shade, so it's not going to be super hot when you get done and out of the water. And kind of here in the background, that's sort of where that main that first little channel I went out and don't suggest using is right there. And down this way up the beach is where the keyhole is to enter. Haole Hawaiian Snorkeling. I just want to thank you for taking the time to check out our snorkeling video, Snorkeling in Puako. And I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, mahalo and stay safe in the water.